Before Harry ever met Hedwig, a reckless boy named Ged accidentally ripped open the fabric of his world and had to chase his own shadow across 1,000 islands to mend it. Stay with me as we explore why Ursula K. Le Guin's A Wizard of Earthsea is still casting spells half a century later. Setting sail for Earthsea. Plot and premise. Imagine a world where names wield power, where islands float like stepping stones across a vast, indifferent sea, and where a reckless boy discovers that magic is not simply showmanship, but a covenant with the balance of life itself. That is the heartbeat of Ursula K. Le Guin's 1968 classic, A Wizard of Earthsea. The novel opens on the mist-veiled island of Gaunt, home to a goatherd named Guin, who will later be called Sparrowhawk, and, finally, Ged. Gifted with a raw talent for true speech, the language that shapes reality, Ged is taken under the wing of the wise mage Guin before being sent to the wizard school on Roke. It is there, fueled by pride and a thirst to outshine his peers, that Ged unleashes a shadow creature that almost kills him and threatens the entire archipelago. The rest of the book is both chase and pilgrimage. The shadow hunts Ged, and Ged must learn the nature of his own darkness in order to heal the rift he has torn in the world. Along the way, we encounter dragons that sleep on piles of names, storms that listen, and quiet villages where ordinary people fear both wizardry and winter. Le Guin's plotting is deceptively lean. Each episode, crossing doldrums, healing a plague, bartering with ancient powers, builds the rhythm of a folktale while propelling the narrative like a thriller. By the end of Chapter 1, the stakes have escalated from village squabble to existential threat, hooking even readers who usually dodge high fantasy. Unreadable and unforgettable. Themes of identity and power. At first glance, A Wizard of Earthsea resembles the familiar Chosen One Goes to Magic School blueprint that would later dominate pop culture. But Le Guin inverts almost every trope to dig into deeper questions. The story's core theme is the perilous journey from boyhood ego to integrated self. Ged's shadow isn't a random monster. It is the embodiment of everything he denies, his fear, ambition, and anger, given teeth by a careless spell. Confronting it is an act of radical self-acceptance, not external conquest, making the climax feel intimate despite its cosmic stakes. Power, likewise, is framed as equilibrium rather than domination. Wizards learn not bright, cinematic incantations, but the true names of wind, stone, and dragon, and every act of naming disrupts the world's fragile balance. Early in the novel, Guin warns Ged that to light a candle is to cast a shadow, a line that crystallizes Le Guin's Taoist philosophy. Action and consequence are inseparable halves of a circle. The theme of humility threads through secondary characters as well. Vetch's steadfast friendship, Seret's tragic compromise, and even the dragon Yavod's begrudging respect for reciprocity. Le Guin also challenges colonial thinking by giving us a map of scattered islands rather than a monolithic empire. Cultures are plural, language is music, and mastery means listening. When we finish the book, we are left not with the triumph of a hero standing over a vanquished foe, but with the quiet satisfaction of a person who finally knows his own name, and thus his place in the living web. Crafting the archipelago, Le Guin's language and world building. If the plot forms the skeleton of A Wizard of Earthsea, Le Guin's prose is the blood that animates it. She channels the cadence of oral tradition, short declarative sentences woven with sudden lyrical flourishes, so that the text feels both ancient and immediate. Listen to how she describes fog rolling over Gaunt, a slow wind moving, as if the world breathed in sleep. That dreamy precision matters, because Earthsea is built mostly of suggestion. Instead of lengthy genealogies or 10-page histories, we get flashes. A rune carved on driftwood, a fireside tale of a long-gone princess, an overheard sailor's chant. Our imaginations do the masonry between those hints, making the archipelago seem endless. Notice too how Le Guin bends classic fantasy diction. She avoids archaic clutter, preferring clean, modern words that still carry mythic weight, which keeps the narrative accessible for younger readers while inviting adults to savor subtext. The pacing is deliberate. Moments of stillness. Jed staring into a pool, a boat becalmed under blank sky. Stretch time, allowing internal transformation to catch up to external events. Unlike many quest novels, violence is sparse. Confrontations hinge on wit and naming rather than swordplay, reinforcing the intellectual texture of her magic system. Sound design also plays a role. Names like Ogion, Athran, and Pendor echo softly, while Ged cuts like a stone skipped across water, hinting at his restless nature. For aspiring writers, Earthsea is a masterclass in world building through restraint. Show just enough, let silence carry the rest. Legacy, impact, and should you read it? More than 50 years after publication, A Wizard of Earthsea still ripples across speculative fiction. Ursula K. Le Guin's Sorcerer School predates Hogwarts by almost 3 decades, and her vision of magic as linguistic precision influenced everyone from Neil Gaiman to N.K. Jemisin. The novel also broke ground by centering a protagonist with copper-brown skin in a genre then dominated by white European archetypes, a detail the author mentions once and lets stand, quietly revolutionary. Critics often place Earthsea alongside Tolkien, but their goals differ. Where Tolkien builds grand mythology, Le Guin examines the individual psyche against a mythic backdrop. That introspective angle is why the book remains so teachable in classrooms, useful for discussions of Jungian shadow, environmental ethics, and even restorative justice. The 2004 Miyazaki-produced film adaptation and the earlier Sci-Fi Channel miniseries missed the nuance, serving as cautionary tales for anyone who thinks Earthsea is just another sword and dragon romp. The source text is slimmer, stranger, and far more tender. Should you read it today? Absolutely. Especially if you crave fantasy that respects your intelligence and your patience. At 183 pages, the novel is brisk, but its aftertaste lingers for years. Approach it not looking for a power fantasy but for a mirror. You might glimpse parts of your own unclaimed shadow. And if you're a writer, study how Le Guin braids thematic depth, cultural diversity, and narrative economy without ever sacrificing wonder. Few books can entertain, philosophize, and still leave you smelling salt air when you shut the cover. This one does. If this review helped you decide whether to embark on Ged's voyage, hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dive book breakdowns, and drop a comment with the fantasy novel you want me to sail into next.